Hey guys, what's going on? Scott here. The First Channel's coming at you with another video. And as usual, we're unboxing an action figure. And this one is not exactly the one that I was ready for, but it came in the mail. And it is McFarlane DC Multiverse Wonder Woman. I believe it's from the George Perez era in the 80s. There was a lot of, I guess you'd say more lore of Wonder Woman kind of built up in that run from the 80s. I did have that, I think I had 1 through 100. I bought it in a lot. So I had the whole lot of, Wonder Woman from that time period. I think we had like the first appearance of Ares in one of those issues. Super good looking artwork from that era. That was one of the runs from DC where it was kind of like, I hate to see it go, but you know, it was just kind of sitting on my side, just collecting dust. So, hopefully the guy that bought the collection, those books went to someone that could appreciate them more than, what they were doing with me just sitting in the box. So, but that being said, I figured what we'll do is check out the box first, and hopefully there won't be any disappointments with this unboxing. Past, I think the last video we did some wrestling stuff. It was when I was doing the video and even going back and kind of going through it, and before I posted it, I was like, at the first of the video, I was like, oh, you know, it was pretty, I don't get super excited. I'm not real loud or anything like that. But, as the video progressed, I kind of noticed it was almost like a depression kicked in with the fact that the figures just weren't really doing it for me. And I was obviously a little disappointed because, you know, you spend all that money on these figures and then you get them and you're excited at first, obviously, because there's some guys that you wanted to get, you know, wanted the new Booker T or one of the Javon Evans. And it was just kind of like, oh man, it's just, they just weren't doing it for me. So super disappointed. I'm hoping I'm not going in with this one with high hopes. I know I love Wonder Woman action, and I'm hoping that the figure does it for us. This is the second release, the collector's edition or whatever it is, not the re-release. That re-release, has not been, issued yet. It's still on pre-order. So I don't know when. I think when I look at that last, it's supposed to be coming in. It was either August or October. I could be wrong on that. I don't know where you guys and gals, are at on your pre-orders on that Wonder Woman, reissue. But I don't know. I can't remember if I had 2 of them because I think I ordered one from Entertainment Earth and then one from Big Bad. I don't know why I did that. I think whenever I first saw the re-release of it, I got super excited and I went ahead and did a pre-order of both. I don't remember. So, but anyways, let's check out the box before I get lost in what I'm talking about, and check out the artwork and all the goodies that come in the box. So let's check it out. All right, and here we are. We have the figure sitting here, and finally, a more classic Wonder Woman, one that I'm more associate with Wonder Woman. I can't remember if it's George Perez that did all the artwork back then too. It's been a long time since I looked at, who all did the writing and the artwork and all that kind of stuff, but I might try to look it up later, but I'm sure if any of you guys out there, gals, know, just put it down in the comments down below. The artwork from the 80s, around this time period in the comic book, especially with DC, you know, there was, obviously Marvel had some good stuff too, but man, the detail, and if you ever go through some of those old comic books from the 80s, like Wonder Woman and Superman and, even Batman and, who else was, that Suicide Squad, it's just the artwork in those books were just amazing. And the covers, the thing about that time period too, the covers were amazing. Not all covers, but a lot of the covers, especially if you go through a lot of the Wonder Woman stuff, from the 80s there, like long run, just keep going through them. And there's some stinkers in there too, but man, there are some beautiful covers, and the inside artwork is just as good as the cover art. So that tells you something, because nowadays, I'm going to be real negative here for a second, but some of the newer comic books I picked up, which I haven't really been doing now, and this is more with Marvel and DC, you'll get these just beautiful freaking covers, and then the inside is just like freaking garbage artwork, dude. It's like, I don't know if they're like getting like cheap people that just aren't that great, and they're just paying them what they can to get the books out, but Man, and I know sometimes it's the story can kind of help out with the artwork. You know, I've had some books like that, and some of the books that artwork was kind of part of it, but you didn't get hoodwinked with just a beautiful like Alex Ross cover, and then you get to the book and it's just like, what are you doing? You know, to me, it's a combination with comic books. That's why they're comic books. The combination is the writing and the art, the story and all that kind of good stuff. You know, you can, there are some with good artwork and kind of bad storytelling a little bit. I believe like the Spider-Man run that, Todd McFarlane did. Beautiful artwork, but not so much great storytelling, I guess you could say. And I think some of the other guys had, I think Rob Liefeld, was it Rob Liefeld? He was a little guilty of that. Eric Larson though, he did some amazing Spider-Man stuff, but then when he went to Image, he did Savage Dragon, and I'm pretty sure like whenever he was with Marvel, he was doing more like, I don't think he was writing. I could be wrong. There probably was some writing, but I know he did a lot of covers for Amazing Spider-Man back then. But his Savage Dragon run, that's a good one, but it's like good artwork and good writing. But I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but the point is, if you get the chance, go back and check out, some of the stuff from the 80s of Wonder Woman, Green Lantern with, Hal Jordan and, the Batman stuff. And, you know, you get the death of Superman and, Breaking the Bat, Nightfall and all that stuff. It's just a really good era of, DC Comics. And, well, Marvel had some good stuff too, but around that time period, I was really honed in on DC and just really loving what they were doing. And then you got to the 90s when they went to JSA, and I stuck with it for quite a while. Pretty large run on that one for JSA, but I kind of fell off. You know, I got a little older and I was working and stuff, so was doing more of one of those deals where you're just buying and just literally bagging board and sitting at the side being like, I'm going to get to that. And you never end up getting to it. And then you finally end up selling your collection at some point. So kind of wild, but, I don't know where I was going with that as usual. Just, I guess cause I'm kind of deep down, I'm a bit of a comic book nerd. Just it's, you know, I kind of had to part ways with it. But like I said before, I still dabble, you know, I've been picking up a little something, you know, but it's going to be very little. And also it's going to be mainly wall art, what I'm trying to do. At some point I'm wanting to redo my, man cave and all that kind of stuff and put up some more comic book artwork where it looks a little more professional looking. Like right now it just looks like it's just kind of been puked on the wall and stuff like that. So, but yes, we have the McFarlane Collector's Edition Wonder Woman DC Classic number 61. Don't know what any of that business means. Whenever I first opened the box though, and I was looking at it, I was already kind of thrown off a little bit by the skin tone on this one. I'm hoping once I get it out of the box, it'll look a little better. But the face on it, and I'm hoping, well, they did a pretty good job with the hair, because if you see some of the artwork on some of the covers from the, from that run there, just beautiful Wonder Woman artwork. I freaking love it. There was a lot of issues that after issue 100, I think it was, I can't remember what exactly numbers they were, but just beautiful artwork. And the prices on those were a little bit higher, and I was wanting to dabble into it, but just never did, because obviously didn't have the money to spend on it. But like some of these covers, I really would like to have to hang up on the wall and have them bag and boarded and put in a plastic case where you can't ever open it and be a weirdo with a comic book. But yeah, I freaking, so far, I kind of like what we're seeing here. Although the color, we got our shield, we got our lasso, we got an axe and a sword and 2 pairs of hands and a flight stand and a card as usual. So, but let's get this sucker open and check it out and see what kind of grade we're going to give it. I'm hoping we'll get close to a 5.0 on this one, but we got to remember we still have that other Wonder Woman that'll be in at some point. I will be doing an unboxing of that one because super excited to get that one on the shelf with my Justice League. This one, if you can't afford to get both of them and you just get this one has more of the goodies in it. It'll go perfect on your Justice League shelf too, though. So, but let's jump into it. All right, folks, and here we are. We have Wonder Woman out of the box. And as I was taking it out, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, well, it's kind of nice to have this one because, with that other re-release that we're getting, I feel like That one's coming up a little short with goodies because it wasn't as, I guess, packed with all the stuff in it. I don't remember what exactly came with it, but at least with this one that we're getting, if you do get this one and you get the other one, this one we have enough stuff where we can kind of utilize some of the stuff with that Wonder Woman too, which is kind of nice. Obviously we might not be able to use the hands because I have a feeling that the skin tones are going to be a little bit different. I haven't had that one in hand yet, but obviously at some point I will. And then also I would say, goodies wise, I would get this one just as I've opened it. You get more goodies with this one than you do with the re-release, although that one is a little bit cheaper, but I think you're getting a little more bang for your buck on this one. And the figure still looks really good. The skin tone is a little bit off, but I think they tried to really get that color of the skin tone that they did in the comic book. I don't know if y'all can see that very well. Get close up there. I can't really fault them for it. It's probably hard to hit, but it's pretty close. So let's check out the card real quick. Oh, we got a bunch of writing on here. The comic book versions always have a lot more info than like the movie or TV show ones. Let's see. Wise as Athena, stronger than Hercules. Swift is Hermes, and beautiful as Aphrodite. Wonder Woman is Diane, daughter of Zeus. She is a princess of an ancient tribe of warrior women known as the Amazonians, and a founding member of the Justice League. After a childhood spent learning the arts of war on the island of Themyscira, she ventured into the world and the mortals as the Amazonian's ambassador of peace. Diane abides by a strictly ethical code. Her goal is peace and harmony between women and men, but she knows there's a very long way to go before this can be achieved. Very true. That was a mouthful there, but I love this card because I love that artwork. I know I'm feeling, I'll probably like, this dude's kind of weird. But no, it's just really nice to get a Wonder Woman from the DC Multiverse, run of these figures. As always, we got pins, we got a little toe bin, and I was almost a little disappointed whenever I first pulled it out. I almost thought we had like those old school ankles, and it's almost close. I don't know if you can see that. They're not just the ball, because they've kind of fixed that a little bit, but we have a break in the paint though. So whenever you do your foot like that, it's just that wonky kind of just something about it that just really I don't like. So, but that's one of the negatives so far. So we got the break in the paint right there with where the boot is. The boot's got a nice little texture on it. Then her legs have a nice texture too. She can almost do a splits there at a pretty, what would I say? It's a little softer, obviously. If you know McFarlane figures, you know, her buttocks is feeling very tight. She comes with Fist of Fury out of the box. Her wrist bracers are molded, but they aren't loose, so she doesn't turn there at the forearm. Of course, her hands can turn and all that kind of good stuff. The suit itself has a good texture to it. The only thing about it is with her, we're not going to get a lot of movement out of it because all we have is the ball joint at the waist. So you don't have any kind of movement right there at the abdominal area around the rib cage. So it's going to be a little bit hindered. And then also on top of that, the hair is going to be hindering it. So the hair and the no ab crunch at all pretty much. I don't know why they did that. I'm wondering if the other release will have that. So keep in mind if you have not ordered these yet. I don't know what the other one has. If you've seen it, I would rather have more of the ab crunch to where you can kind of get it down because she's not going to move very well. If she's just standing there on the shelf, yes, she's going to look good. Legs on mine are very, they're not loose, but they're just right. Sometimes you get them a little loosey-goosey. The ankles on this one are a little loose because they're so small. That's one more negative about some of the McFarlane female figures sometimes. I've had some that are good and some, this is one that's might be a little too loosey-goosey because they're so little. She does have her little necklace there that you can barely see under that. And then she has her lasso of truth, which I think mine has a piece of tape on it right there to keep it together. So I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to want to keep that tape on there just so I can hang this off on the side, which, let's see, it's very, it's a little super soft plastic there. So It's not going to hold it the greatest. And, well, I mean, it does the job, I guess. So it's going to look good on there. And then our shoulders with the little extra plastic in there. On mine, it's really kind of loosey and flopping around. And the hair, like I said, is very hindering. That's about as far up as the arms are going to be able to go. As you see, that lasso just fell. So maybe a different head sculpt for this one would have helped out, because then we could have done a little more with the arms. But I mean, you can still get them up kind of that high there and down. Still, the outfit looks good. It's going to look good sitting on the shelf. You're just not going to be able to get a lot of movement out of it. And then our shield here that we have, it's just going to be able to slide right onto her arm, and it actually gets on there pretty snug. I've had some figures in the past where it just doesn't want to stay on there very well. Like that Captain Carter and, what's that other one? I can't remember the name of the girl. It's the one from Marvel that looks like Wonder Woman. I can't remember her name. Anyways, that one, the shield, I think on that one, it doesn't ever want to stay on right. And then our weapons that we have, they're pretty loosey-goosey. So a little floppy on that. And then another thing I'm kind of seeing here, she's got her grippy hands. Her hands are pretty small. And the weapons, looks like they're going to have a hard time going on there. Yeah, they're a little, well, it holds. So let's see how well it does when we put it on there. All right. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But if that plastic probably would have been any thinner, I don't think it would just flop over like a limp noodle. So I kind of get why they did that. Maybe so they gave the hands a little bit of a bigger grip. I mean, it's holding it, but it's barely doing it. So then the sword, we'll get that in there. The sword grip is pretty fat on there too, but it is holding. So I think we're doing pretty good there. And then the other hands that we have with her are kind of like some flight hands. And the lasso, I didn't untape it yet because I'm kind of wanting to just hang it on there. It's just a string. It's not wired or anything, so it's not going to be able to look all crazy. You could probably have it kind of like behind your back or something and kind of dangling, but let me see. It doesn't have like a handle or anything, so it's, I don't know, it's a little disappointing. The figure still looks good, don't get me wrong. It's just got some negatives. So I can say for sure it's still pretty good pickup. I will do a 4.5, I guess, just because that's kind of a big one right there. We got the ab crunch that's coming up short, the mispaint on the ankles, and the ankles are kind of those rinky-dinky ones, and they're loosey-goosey. Not an extra head sculpt to where we could get some good arm movement because of the hair. The hair looks really good though, don't get me wrong. The face sculpt looks really good too, so can't really go too wrong with that face sculpt, but it would have been nice to get an extra head, or if they could have just done what they've been kind of doing and have that hairpiece can just kind of come off and then have one that can go on that's more battle mode ready. So, but yeah, there we go. She stands up pretty good. One thing I do get afraid of with some of these McFarlane figures, whenever they got those just crappy ankles and they're too loosey-goosey, is they'll just kind of fall over. And they do eventually fall over on the shelf. So that's something else to think about. So, but before we go, I was going to check out some stuff about Wonder Woman from this era and to see if we can get some info out there for what you need to be picking up to read. So hold on a second. All right, guys, and some essential reads. This is just what I kind of pulled up on the internet, and this is some of the stuff that I had already anyways, or I used to have. So defining Wonder Woman stories, you're going to go Wonder Woman number 1, Wonder Woman 2 through 14, Wonder Woman Gods and Mortals, Wonder Woman Challenge of the Gods, and Wonder Woman Beauty and the Beasts. The legacy of this era was George Perez relaunch established many elements that remain part of Wonder Woman today. A stronger emphasis on Greek mythology, the modern portrayal of Themyscira and the Amazons. Diane is a compassionate ambassador of peace who is also one of DC's greatest warriors. Very true. A rich cast of gods, mortals, and mythical enemies. Many fans and critics regard Perez as 1987 to 1992 run as one of the definitive interpretations of Wonder Woman, influencing comics, animation, and live action adaptations for decades afterwards. And that's very true. A lot of the stuff that came out of the 80s really defined a lot of these, figures, these superheroes into now. Like you Frank Miller Batman really revolutionized Batman from that era, and is still, has its paws or whatever on these heroes. So with Wonder Woman, and then you had like Superman with Jurgens and Breeding, or whatever their names were, from the 80s. Just awesome looking artwork, awesome story. The people hate on the death of Superman a little bit. That it's more of it's not really hate, I guess. It's what would you call it? It's more of they printed too many, so they're worthless kind of thing. Well, they might be worthless to some people, but price wise, it's a great pickup. A lot of these books you can get kind of cheap now, especially with Superman, because they printed so many of them. I read through the death of Superman so many times as a kid. I promise, this is so true. When I read that last issue where he fought Doomsday and died there at the end, and Lois was holding him, I swear I cried when I was a kid. It was super cool. It was a good time in comic books. I will say I had the whole Nightfall deal. And I was kind of hit and miss on how much of it I was reading back then, but the Superman stuff, man, I read through that like it was like, I don't know what, I really loved it. And, so one other thing about Superman, while we're talking about Superman comic books, I will say there was another run there at the end at New 52, where they killed off the New 52 Superman, and we got back the classic Superman. That whole deal at the end run there of New 52 Superman is really good. I liked it a lot. Super great artwork too. I loved it. That's another good one if you get the chance. I'm sure they have the trade paperback of the New 52 Superman stuff. Pretty much all that ending that they had there, with all the series. I can't remember what I know we had Superman. I think we had Adventures of Superman, and it's been so long I can't remember. Hold on a second. I don't want to leave y'all off here without having something to look up to read. So hold on one second. Alright, so I had to cheat a little bit, but I wanted to get this through to you guys because I did have this. I thought about repurchasing it too. It was the Final Days of Superman. Was a major 2016 DC Comics storyline that marked the death of the New 52 version of Superman just before the start of DC's Rebirth era. And I got into the Rebirth era, but that was kind of one of the things where I kind of fell off a little bit. Out of all that stuff going on when New 52 and then Rebirth, you had the Metal series that one I really liked a lot. But this crossover, the Final Days of Superman, Superman number 51, Batman Superman 31 through 32, Action Comics 51 through 52, and Superman Wonder Woman 28 through 29. So you need Superman 51, Batman Superman 31 through 32, Action Comics 51 through 52, and Superman Wonder Woman 28 through 29. So they're not too expensive either. And if you look them up, the Final Days of Superman, you sometimes find a lot of them, so you can get the whole thing pretty cheap. But this is one where Superman had like a new power. I forgot what issues it was. And it was kind of a big thing. It was hard to get the first print of it and all that kind of stuff. So, but that's a good read too. Back to the figure before we go. I just wanted to cover some comic book stuff and let y'all find some stuff to read out there. I think we're definitely a pick up on this one. We're 4.2-ish, 5-ish. It's not below a 4. It just has some shortcomings for sure, just to let you guys know. But if you are a fan of Wonder Woman, I would pick this up. So, but if you could just comment down below, what did you think about the figure? If you already have it, what do you think about this review and look at the figure? And if you can, like always, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll see you later.